Here we were in the early stages of a pandemic, something that none of us had ever experienced in our collective lifetime. I knew we'd be back on our feet at some point, but in the interim, I still wanted to speak to audiences, but particularly to assistant principals. Knowing that my social media platform was large and was closely associated with my work, on the first Saturday in May 2020, I launched the virtual AP Leadership Academy. The intent was 18 weeks only, but as many of you know, we are years in with no ending in sight. We are now the AP and New Principals Academy, as many of the assistant principals from the original virtual AP Leadership Academy became principals. If you're new to the platform, welcome. If you're a leadership veteran, this platform continues to be relevant for veterans in principal leadership, assistant principal leadership, and aspiring school leaders. With that said, it's time for today's session. And we are live. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 322 consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in this morning. We got Nadira Coley, Newark, New Jersey. We got Chancellor Davis, Las Vegas, Nevada. We got Mrs. Yolanda McKinney, Texas. Principal Otis Kitchen II is in the building. I see you. I know you told me I'll see you this week. And he's in Tampa, Florida, by the way. Donovan Small, right here in Jersey. Good to see you, my brother. We got Dr. Rachel Edo-Eckett, Maryland, president of Maryland Elementary Principals, Maryland Elementary School Principals Association, right? I think I messed that up, man. And if you go on the ASCD conference, good old Rachel Edo-Eckett is gonna be on the main stage, man. Y'all make sure you get there and check her out, man. I'll be there too, but y'all make sure you get there and check out Dr. Rachel Edo-Eckett doing her thing. Here we go. We got Takesha High, Virginia, Grace Castaneda in Kyle, Texas, Dr. Robin Snowden, Harambe, Fresno, California. We got Lysandra Brackens in North Carolina. Rodney Richardson is in Hampton, Virginia. Megan Kaiser, greetings from Philadelphia in the building. We got Marsha Poe, San Diego, Stacy Joy, and again, congratulations, happy retirement. Stacy Joy is in Los Angeles, California. John Herricks in Denton, Texas. Constance Sherrod, Pearl, Mississippi. We got Chantel Cook in Newport News, Virginia. Retired Principal Dot McKeever Jeter is in Calumet City, Illinois. Just Kim, she said good morning. Vanessa Zeskin is in Connecticut. Where we at? Create and Educate. They're in Chester, South Carolina. Where we at? We got Lori Craig, St. Louis, Missouri. I ain't been to St. Louis in a minute, man. Tell somebody I'm still here in St. Louis so I can get back, man. I got this ritual, man, where I go and stand under that gateway arch, y'all, and I just stand there and look at it, man. I don't know what it is about the arch in St. Louis that I am just completely fascinated by it. Particularly the I saw the film. You can go underground and see the film, and how they brought it together to join, man. That just fascinates me. But let me keep going. We got Sherry Jones, Missouri City, Texas. Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu is in the building, Tulsa, Oklahoma. James Wilburn, Denton, Texas. Where we at? Delois Black, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm getting ready to wrap it up, y'all, because I'm getting ready to get it started. We got Dr. Tammy Taylor in the building. Appreciate all them words you gave me a little while ago. Right. And speaking of a little while ago, Sean Hurt. Hey, y'all, Facebook Live, YouTube, Sean Hurt every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time, followed by Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30. And then yours truly, 11 o'clock. And then switch over to Sunday, Josh Tovar, Principal Josh Tovar, and Dr. Madi Moreno with PGP Podcast. So Saturdays, we call it Super Saturday. You got three back-to-backs of PD, free, right? And then you got Sunday, so we call ourselves the Fantastic Four collectively, right? So make sure that you tune in to all of us. If you don't see us live every week, that's okay. Watch the video. Most of our views are video views, not live views. So don't worry about if you can't make it live. Just check us out later on the video. Hey, y'all, I'm getting ready to get it started. Let me end it with the queen of the castle. The castle, y'all. Kimberly Broughton Kafele is in the building. Let me get it started by formally saying to everybody, good morning, greetings, and welcome to week 322 consecutively of the AP and New Principals Academy. Hey, y'all, got that same question every week. Same question, same two questions. What were your wins last week, man? What were your wins? What were your wins, right? And I know you're off. You know, you're off from the regular grind during the 10 months, but you may not be off. You may be working in the summer, right? But if you're not working in the summer, you may be vacationing. But within the vacation, there may be some wins that are happening, right? So like if you had a win in the gym, that's a win. If you had a win in cutting back on grabbing them donuts and cupcakes and cookies and brownies, right? That's a win. Right. If you refrain from all the barbecue at the cookout or the fried chicken wings at the restaurant, whatever it was, that's a win, right? Winning is not just what you do as a leader. Anything you do that's going to be beneficial to you is a win. So what were your wins last week, right? I know I had wins, but we get into it later. But yeah, what were your wins? But then, the follow-up question is always, okay, you had the win. So now what do you do to take your win to another level of accomplishment? That matters, right? Because you can't rest on your laurels. So you got to win. All right, now let me build on that win. Let me take that win to another level. Let me take that win to another level. Let me take that win to another level. And you keep winning and winning and winning. And then if you're connected to people, you're bringing them with you. So it's all of us winning because you're winning. Don't lose sight of that, y'all. Let's go, man. We got so much today. My announcements, right? My shout outs. Ooh, man, let me tell y'all something, man. Talk about winning. I had the kind of week that keeps you young. Like let's see, we going into July. So I got July, August, September, October. I'll be 66 in October, right? So 4 months from now, I'll be 66 years old. But the audiences that I had this week, man, they kept a brother young, man. It's a beautiful thing when you walk in these rooms and people they flock in to say hi, right? To shake your hand, to take a selfie. They brought their books with them, right? Get an autograph, and like I tell people all the time, I'm not that guy that all right, I'm tired of this. No, that will never. I want y'all to put your freaking ear to the speaker. That will never, ever, ever, ever get old. When somebody come up to me and can I get a selfie, right? Can you sign your book for me, right? I just want to shake your hand, right? That will never get old. So I had that in South Carolina at the South Carolina Association of School Administrators in Myrtle Beach. Man, I can't even, man, it's too much to talk about, man. Let me just say I had a great day. We'll just leave it right there, right? That audience, man, they were all that. If any of y'all are out there from South Carolina Association of School Administrators, shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all. Then I had to drive. Is that the one I drove? I drove somewhere. The flight was that one that night. The flight, you know how that works. The first flight is delayed, so you missed the connection. So I had to drive from Myrtle Beach to Williamsburg, Virginia, man. 7 o'clock till 1:30 a.m. But I had some music on. I ain't even gonna tell you what I was listening to, man. See, like you could listen to. I think I will tell you. See, you could listen to certain music, right? That you love. Luther. Like I'm old school. So Luther, Earth, Wind and Fire, Isley Brothers, James Brown, even the Jacksons, Michael, all that kind of stuff. The anniversary of his death was the other day, the 25th, right? But so that'll keep me, that's good for the soul, right? But it's a certain other music that's gonna keep my eyes open, right? So I gotta put on some Pac, man. I know y'all a little surprised by that, but I gotta put on some Pac, man. I gotta put on some All Eyes on Me, right? So now, so when I'm listening to Pac, now some of y'all like, who's Pac? Tupac Shakur, right? So when I'm listening to Pac, even if I don't agree with the lyrics, my eyes be, you know what I'm saying? So now, like, 'cause my mother asked me, did you stop for coffee? I ain't need no coffee, man. And I had spoken all day, man. But Pac was like hitting it, boom, boom. And I mean, it's not like I don't know these songs. I do, right? But it's like something about listening to Pac and his hardcore verses and the way he spits them, if I could use that slang, it kept me going, man. And if somebody out there is judging me, right? I'm gonna tell you something. If you love the brother, meaning me, right? Or you like the brother, then say shout out to Pac for keeping the brother awake on a 6-hour drive from 7 p.m. until 1:30 a.m. and then speak all day the next day, right? Enough said there. Somebody said, I ain't know you listen to Pac, man. Yeah, I mean, it ain't my regular thing, but when I need to stay awake, here we go, y'all. And then lastly, so Williamsburg was the Virginia Association of Secondary School Principals. So shout out to them, man. Great audience. Shout out to them, man. We had a good time. Once again, good people in the building. And then I drove over because I stayed in Virginia. Drove over to Petersburg. Went to Virginia State University, Hale State. And spent the full day with the administrative team of Petersburg City Public Schools, man. What a day. What a way to end my week with them, man. We were in there from 9 to 4, right? And just talking leadership all day long. If anybody is on the call from South Carolina Association of School Administrators, Virginia Association of Secondary School Principals, or Petersburg City Public Schools, shout out to you. Shout out to you. And I appreciate you giving me a great week, right? I hope I gave you a great day. All right, let's go. Welcome to the first timers. But if this is in fact your first time, you've missed 321 sessions. So, but no, don't even worry about it, because you go to the YouTube channel, AP New Principals Academy. They're all there. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell so that you're informed every time I go live, which is every Saturday at 11 o'clock. Eastern time. So again, AP New Principals Academy YouTube channel. Just go there and you can binge watch all of them, right? All of them, all 321, including today's 322, right? And join that 25,400 some odd subscribers, right? That's a lot of people. 25,400 some odd subscribers to the channel. Be one of them so we could bring it up to 26,000. Hey, y'all, I told you, but I'm going to tell you again, starting September, the first Saturday in September, which is September 5th, we'll be going to Zoom during the second hour. So the first hour, I'm solo. Every first Saturday, I'm solo. But then at 12 o'clock Eastern time, we switch over to Zoom, and now we engage. We'll engage on whatever my topic was in the solo, but we'll also engage on anything that you feel that the space is safe enough for you to express yourself. And we can talk about whatever's on your mind. And it doesn't have to just be me, because we'll be on Zoom. There may be somebody sitting right in one of them little square boxes who has something that they want to give you as well. And we can just exchange that way. So that'll be, again, first Saturday. So how do you get the link? Some of y'all ain't following my directions on this one, so I'm going to say it nice and slow. Go to my AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page, not the Principal Kafele Facebook page. If you go there, it's going to get lost because I get too many inboxes in there. I'm not complaining. It's just that I get a lot. I get hundreds a day, right? So go to the AP New Principals Academy Facebook page. Go to the inbox, which means you click messages, I guess, right? And just say, I'm in, or I'm down. You ain't got to say nothing else. You don't have to say, when you said on the Academy about the Zoom, you don't have to say all that. Just say, I'm in, or I'm down. I'm gonna know exactly what that means, and then leave your personal email address, not your work email, because I may not be able to get through. Your personal. I will in turn send you the link late August. I ask you now, but I'm gonna ask you every week. Do not share that link. Don't post it, because I don't want people in here that ain't listen. I don't know how this sounds when I say this, but I do not want people on that platform, on that Zoom platform, who are not down with Kafele. Right? I don't know how that sounds when it comes out of my mouth, but I don't want people that is not down with me. I'm not looking for people that want to challenge me. I'm not looking for people that want to troll me. I'm not looking for people that want to denigrate me. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for people, I'm down with Kafele, right? So that's who I want. So don't post that link. I want to have complete control over who comes into that Zoom call, right? Good stuff. Let's go. Where we at? Hey, y'all, the two books that correspond with this academy and the Zoom, the Assistant Principal 50 and What is My Value instructionally to the teachers I supervise, right? If you don't have a copy yet, get it right. If you don't have a copy yet, get yourself a copy, both of them, right? And while you're there, if you go to Amazon, get all them books I wrote, but these two in particular, right, for this particular academy. It's the ASCD tomorrow. If you're going to be there, I see you there. I'm doing a 8 to 1 pre-conference session, and then I'll be doing a session at 8:30 on Monday, then a book signing, and then I get this award, and then I'm out, man. I got to bounce, man. I'm coming home. I'm tired, y'all. I'm supposed to be there like all day, and then the next day, I told the folks, I got to go. I'm tired, man. My body is worn out. July is going to be, hey, we'll talk about it later. Hey, y'all, make sure you join me at the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, July 9 and 10 in Savannah. If you haven't registered, it's still not too late. Just go to principalkafele.com, scroll down to where you see School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, and click that link, register, and I'll see you in Savannah, July 9 and 10. The NAESP, National Association of Elementary School Principals Conference, I'll be there July 14. Go to naesp.org. And then next day, Nashville, SREB, Southern Regional Educational Board, July 15. I'll be there on July 15th, sreb.org, right? I'm doing 2 sessions at both conferences. Come on through, y'all. Come on through. Those are my only public events over the summer. Everything else is private. Can't invite you to those, so I don't even tell you about them. All right, y'all, enough said. Let me get to my monologue, and then we'll jump into my guest, right? Let me get to my monologue. My monologue is a little different because I'm usually my monologue is tied to leadership. Today is tied to leadership, but it doesn't have to be. It can be tied to any phase, aspect, component of your life, right? There's this word. My topic is entitled "The Power of Your Ideas." Again, the power of your ideas. What am I saying? There's this little itty bitty 2-syllable word called idea. 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 And I think that, in fact, I know that there's a lot of us as human beings that we generate these ideas, or said differently, these ideas come from somewhere in the universe, and they kind of land right here and right here, right? And some of us, we do things with those ideas. We do big things with those ideas, or we do small things, or we do slight things, but we do something with these ideas. But then there are others who this big idea pops into your head and you do nothing with it. Maybe there's anxiety, maybe there's trepidation, maybe there's lack of belief in oneself to transform that idea into something big, maybe a way of living, maybe a lifestyle, maybe something that you wanted to accomplish, whatever it is. So I'm here this morning to say to you, when that thing comes into your head, like let me just personalize it real quick. I had this idea. I'm gonna give you 2. I had this idea I'm a brand new principal in an urban school district called East Orange, New Jersey, which is where I'm born and raised. And I had this idea of an African-centered school. Now that we're talking public school, but I had this idea. Now, most people, they're going to look at it and say, oh, that'll never fly. You know, the politics of the district, the superintendent will never accept it. It might even stain me for even bringing it up, you know, all that kind of stuff. I had an idea that a school of that nature will completely transform the mindsets of children and staff. So I ran with it. I went to the superintendent and was persuasive enough to convince him to allow me to do it. And it became a thing. So usually you see that in a private school setting, maybe a charter school setting, but this was a regular public school where whoever's coming in there is coming in there. And we did it, and we outperformed everybody. Idea. Let me give you one more. I had this idea. I'm leading a school, North Tech, that I was able to lead out of the ashes and make it high performing. I'm earning good money at the time. When I left in 2011, I'm earning $160,000. That's good money, and it's particularly during that time for a principal. But I had an idea, little itty bitty thing, 4 letters, 4-letter word, 2 syllables, IDEA, idea. I said, I bet you, based on what you've accomplished, I bet you can have access to the world. Little on me. It was just a thought, man. Yo, put your ear to the speaker, baby. Because I know I'm talking to one of y'all. I said, this guy, me, little on me. I bet you I can impact the world. But in order to do it, I got to quit my job. I had an idea, baby. I said, I'm gonna quit my job, a job I love, I might add. It was in my DNA, but I had this bigger idea than what I was doing. I said, I want to impact the world, and particularly at that time, educators of Black males. It evolved into leadership. But I had to quit my job, no salary, pay that mortgage somehow with no job yet, $2,000 a month in health benefits, three biological children that I still got to put through college, got a wife, you know, all that stuff. Got, you know, so my life. But the idea, y'all, I ain't gonna go long on this, y'all. The idea, it's like that. But I said, I have to act on this. And I quit. My superintendent said, you crazy. That's what he said. I said, I gotta pursue this. I wanted access, man. I wanted the whole freaking world, right? The world more so through the books, though. The country through me in person, or even this platform, right? I left, man. But I'm trying to tell you something. I've been doing that now for 15 years. I was 50 years old when I left. I am 65 now. I have traveled over 100,000 miles for 15 years. I have 1.8 million miles. I'm almost at 2 million in 15 years because I acted on an idea. Now, I'm not trying to get nobody to be careless and reckless. I thought it through, and then I bounced. All I'm saying, somebody, I'm gonna wrap it up. When you have an idea, it may not be the time right then to do whatever the idea is. Because I'm not trying to encourage anybody to be a speaker and a consultant. I just use my example. Just whatever the idea is, don't sleep on it, because here's what happens when you sleep on your idea and don't implement it. I'm gonna show you what happens. It's like this, right? It's this little itty bitty thing. So let me take a prop. We'll use this pen as my prop. So here's the idea. And here's another person. Matter of fact, I got something bigger, a water bottle. Let me turn it upside down. So this is a prop. This is another person. Here's your idea in your head and in your heart, right? So here it is. You got this grand idea, but you don't act on it. So here's what your idea does. Watch this. All right. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to act on it. All right. Watch this, y'all. It becomes somebody else's idea. And then they act on it. And then what do? You sit on the sidelines or in the balcony of a 4-level auditorium theater, and you watch that person living your idea. That's what happens. You watch somebody else living your idea. The power of the idea. Act upon your idea. Enough said, fam. Enough said. I got guests. Let me get them on up here. But as I'm getting them on up here, do me a favor. Hit that share button. Hit that retweet, that repost. Tag somebody, text somebody, call somebody. Let them know we are here. I got Philly in the building this morning. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Bam. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Great to see you. Great.
Philly's in the building.
Philly's in the building. Philly's in the building. Hey, y'all, again, let somebody know that we are here. We got a lot to talk about, man. So much, you know, the two of them were on Vance McNear and Michelle Todd-Coleman, which I'm gonna be using their titles when we get to it because I always respect that. But they were here before, and they were a principal and assistant principal team. Well, that has shifted. That has shifted, and now they are principal colleagues, right? So, and that's what I want to talk about. My topic today, my AP is now a principal. What should I tell her, right? And I crafted it in a way that it's beneficial for everybody that tunes in, even if you are a veteran, if you are a superintendent and you have principals and APs that work under your leadership. It's for you. It's for everybody. So before I get started, I want to share with you their bios. And Principal Todd-Coleman, I'm gonna read a portion of her bio. She sent me the long joint, but or if I'm in Philly, long John. And
You got it.
It was long.
He did. He told me it was long. I said he'll figure it out. He can figure it out.
No, I got it figured out. You had some good stuff there. One of your homies said, "Oh my God, are you in your new office?"
No, this is home.
Okay.
I wish no. I'm at home.
That's from Megan Kaiser. Yeah. So here we go. Vance McNear, MED, has served as the principal at Edwin Forrest Elementary School in Philadelphia since 2022. Under his leadership, Forrest Elementary has achieved significant academic gains while cultivating a school culture where every individual feels safe, cared for, supported, and valued. Check this out, fam. In recognition of his distinguished leadership, Vance was honored with the 2025-26 Lindback Award for Distinguished Principals, securing a $20,000 school improvement grant. He solidified a major partnership with the Philadelphia Mayor's Office and has successfully secured over $160,000 in donations and grants to fund vital student initiatives. Vance actively serves as the school district of Philadelphia School Leader Facilities Planning Process Committee and acts as co-facilitator for the Black Male Leaders Think Tank. And I got to say, in full disclosure, that those were bullet points to the family out there. And I said, man, I could just do a whole session just around them 3 bullet points, but I gotta stay focused, right? A dedicated lifelong learner, Vance was recently named, I'm not sure the pronunciation, Neubauer?
Yes.
All right, Neubauer Fellow, Cohort 9 with the Philadelphia Academy of School Leaders. He is a graduate of the 2025 Howard Superintendent Academy Executive Leadership Program and is currently pursuing his Doctor of Education, EDD, in Educational and Organizational Leadership at Holy Family University. Congrats on that. Born and raised in South Philadelphia, Vance is a what am I saying? I got when I said South Philadelphia, it put
Will Smith.
Will Smith on my
West Philadelphia, born and raised. Yeah, so you said West.
Man, it's crazy how the mind works, man. Because I mean, there's nothing on here that says that, but it said South Philly, so I'm thinking West Philly, and here we go. Mind is tricky. Vance is a proud graduate of Roman Catholic High School and remains deeply committed to empowering the youth and communities of his hometown. Good stuff. Michelle Todd-Coleman. Michelle Coleman is an educational leader and administrator who has served the school district of Philadelphia for 23 years. Michelle was born and raised in Philadelphia. She went to Philadelphia Public Schools and graduated with her BFA in Performing Arts from Temple University. She furthered her education with her master's in education from Cheney University and her master's in educational leadership from Grand Canyon University. She spent 18 years in the classroom, teaching at both the elementary level and as a middle school English teacher. The experience she had as a classroom teacher and as a teacher leader provided her with the tools she needed to understand the needs of children, instructionally, emotionally, and mentally, with ensuring students have supportive environments and also learning the importance of mental health and how it can affect the way a child develops and learns. While serving as a school-based teacher leader, Michelle began to coach and support her colleagues. The transition paved the way for her role as assistant principal for her school district of Philadelphia, a position she has proudly held for 5 years. Her administrative philosophy is centered around empowering teachers and staff, providing them with the necessary support to transform the lives of the students in their charge. Michelle has recently transitioned to the position of principal of an elementary school for the district and is excited to begin the next step in her professional journey. Michelle is recognized as a recognized contributor to the district's leadership development efforts. She serves as co-facilitator for the Black Women Leaders Think Tank, where she facilitates, man, I'm struggling because I'm reading so fast, where she facilitates professional growth and dialogue among Black women in leadership roles. She has been assistant principal mentor, where she helps peers problem solve through the complexities of daily administration. Additionally, she has been a curriculum writer, where she leveraged her expertise to build core instructional materials for the district. She was also in the district's Pathways to Leadership Aspiring Principals Academy, preparing her for this next level of educational leadership journey. There's a little bit more, but I gave y'all a lot, y'all. So let's jump into it. Once again, family, hit that share button, retweet, repost, tag somebody, text somebody, call somebody, let them know we're here, we're live, but also hit that like button, right? That like button is good for the algorithm. So hit that like button, particularly on the YouTube side. And by the way, YouTubers, make sure you hit the subscribe button too. Don't just watch it on YouTube, subscribe to it as well. Enough said. Let me start with Principal Todd-Coleman.
Principal Kafele, before you start, I just want to publicly say, we are from Philly, and we want to congratulate you and your Knicks.
Oh yeah,
a champion NBA championship. I am not a Knicks fan, but I am a Jalen Brunson fan because obviously he went to Villanova, and the Knicks is pretty much Nova,
that's right.
0.20. So what I'm going to do,
is
I'm going to be respectful on this podcast, and I'm going to put my Nova jersey on and support you and Jalen Brunson.
There you go.
There we go.
And this is the first week in about 5 weeks that I haven't rocked Knick gear, but I mean, I'll at least put it on the screen, right? I wear it to Florida tonight, though. Yeah, hey, let's just jump in. I love that jersey, though. That's a nice one. Yeah. Principal Todd-Coleman, the last time I saw you, which was on December 20th, right here on this platform, you were a highly successful 5-year assistant principal. 6 months later, here you sit as a brand new principal and haven't started your first day yet. So I got 3 questions for you. How are you feeling, and what are you feeling regarding stepping into your new role?
So I will say this, I'm actually very excited about this next step in my journey. It was something that, it's funny because when, doors are closed to you, or you get that no, it takes a strong person to pick themselves back up and say, ask for feedback and say, this wasn't your time and now it is. So I am feeling very excited. I'm feeling, because it was more than just you're going to be a principal. The journey was very interesting, but the feedback that I have received from even staff at the job is at my new school. They've actually reached out to me and they are very excited about me coming to the school, being the next principal. I have very big shoes to fill because the principal actually retired. So I'm feeling anxious, but not in a bad way. It's not bad anxiety. It's very good anxiety. And when I was in Cheney, one of my professors said to me, they said, if you ever start your first day, and we were just learning, just teaching, and if you are not nervous on your first day or even your first week of teaching in a classroom, then this is not the right job for you. So that energy has been fulfilling me. It's been filling me up and fulfilling me, because I know that I'm going to take that energy and make sure that I do my best to do great work at that school.
I love it. I love everything you said there. There's so much I want to add, or not add, but converse with you on. But I got so much on these papers, so let me keep it moving, because I know we'll start talking about just what you said, particularly around Cheney. So let me keep moving. Talk to us about the journey to the principalship. Was it a thing where you were hungry, or was it a thing where you had the right people pushing you? What got you wanting to be in that role?
So when we spoke the last time, I do believe I talked about how I was not actually looking for any administrative
Right.
positions. So that wasn't anything that I was actually hungry about. So I would have to say the latter, that someone was pushing me, and they were always in my corner. To this road to the principalship, it was funny because, and the reason why I mentioned the Aspiring Principals Academy is because I was awarded with a coach. And when I first started being an assistant principal, I knew that principals had coaches. And I mentioned to people in the Office of Professional Learning, I said, well, do we get a coach as an assistant principal? Because I don't know how to do this job. And I wasn't necessarily under someone who was helping me learn and growing me in this position. So I'll say this. It was that being part of that program, them giving me a coach, and that coach sticking with me. And I actually had to call when I did get the principal job. I actually reached out to someone in the Office of Professional Learning, and I just said thank you for allowing me to continue to have this coach, because not everyone has that. And my coach was able to help me out. Vance was pushing me as well. And there were a lot of people. It's funny because before I got on here, I just prayed about and thanked God for putting everyone in my life, because everything was strategically planned without me knowing. And those people were brought into my life to push me, even though this little girl was not really willing to push herself.
Yeah. No, I love that. I got a question for you. I'm off script now. Listening, just processing everything you said. Is there an idea that you feel comfortable sharing publicly, that's in your head right now, that you want to see become your reality, see it come to fruition? And again, idea that you want to share publicly, because it could be something that you want to keep to yourself right now. Anything?
Yes. I have a lot of ideas. So your monologue was just, Vance and I were texting one another like, yo, he's
This
talking.
man preaching, boy.
Oh, wow. Appreciate it.
I just wrote, wow, that was it, because you're absolutely correct. I mean, we have a lot of ideas. And, I talked about short-term goals and long-term goals. some of the things that I do, the ideas that I have right now, it's just like, first right now is being in this role and just knowing what my school needs and making sure that I align the correct people who can help my school reach the goal that it needs to reach. And that for me is mostly like instructionally, and, you know, emotionally supportive to my staff and the students as well. A long-term goal, which Vance and I have talked about, is, you know, and I think you have talked to us about it and other people have as well, is just creating a platform for just understanding the strengths that we have and leaning into those strengths and leveraging those strengths to speak to people, to let them know that, you know, this is not the end of your road. You know, there, even if you don't see it, you are, whatever it is inside of you, like we can help you and just make sure that we continue to show people that you can leverage what it is that you have inside of you, your strengths, to be a better person.
Yeah.
Be the person that you want to be.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I got one more for you. As you sit here on June 27th, is it? Yeah, 27, with 2 months to prepare for your opening day. What is your vision for this first year as a brand new principal?
I feel like I'm in an interview again. I believe that was one of those questions that I had to answer. But I probably will answer it in a different way here on this platform. But my true vision for the first year is to really, really build those relationships inside of their school. Yeah. To get to know the people. Again, I talked about leveraging strengths, to get to know the people that I'm working with, understanding where their strengths are, understanding where their passions are, and understanding what their needs are. One of the things that I always want to know is what the people who've been working in that school, the staff and the students who've been going to the school, the parents, the guardians in the community, what is it about that school that makes it special to you? And if this is what makes it special to you, how can we make that continue with that? And then what is it that this school, what do you think this school needs to make it great, for it to go from good to great? And how can we work together and collaborate to make sure that this school is what it wants to be? And it's not about me being at the helm of the school, but it's about the people and the children enjoying coming to the school and being proud of where they are.
Good stuff. And the method to my madness, and even asking a question like that, is the fam that's out here watching on the other side of my camera. Hey fam, you can't step into that building. I don't care if you're first year or if you're 10th year or whatever year you're in. You cannot walk into that building without a vision, right? And that vision may shift. And I could be talking about a couple of visions, such as your school vision, but I could also be talking about your leadership vision, which may not necessarily be the same language. But you got to walk in there seeing what you're going to be before you take the first step, right? So great stuff, great stuff. Let me go over to Principal McNear. In recognition, as I took this directly from the bio, in recognition of your distinguished leadership, you were honored with the 2025-26 Lindback Award for Distinguished Principal, securing a $20,000 school improvement grant. I know you don't want to necessarily toot your own horn, right? I get that. But the fam out there that's watching and who will see the video later, they need to know what makes Vance McNear a distinguished principal. Now that's probably a whole 2-hour session in and of itself. Give me the synopsis. Like what is it about you? What is it about your leadership would be a better question, that makes you distinguished?
It's funny that you asked that, because I was just going to say you're correct. I don't like to toot my own horn. But to be honest with you, it's really understanding that you don't know everything. And it's really understanding distributive leadership and understanding that Michelle has something special about her. another staff member has something special about him, and let's just all work together to pretty much ensure that these kids that we're working with have a successful chance of making it in the world. So that's what it is in a heartbeat. And, I can go deeper, but we'll be on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, I think I understood you though, and I think the fam does too. And by the way, fam, I'm going to get to my topic. I just want y'all to get a sense of who my guests are first, and then we're going to transition. So let me stay with you, Principal McNear. What drives your leadership? And in other words, it wasn't the work per se that drove me, right? It was the ills of society that drove me to be the type of teacher, the type of principal that I wanted to be, right? Not the work in isolation. So my question to you is, what's driving you to be who you've become as a school leader?
What drives me are the kids. I love the kids. And if you want to go deeper than just the kids, the opportunity that can be given to the kids so they can be what they dream to be, so they can say, this is my idea, and I'm not going to be afraid to step out on faith and make that idea come to fruition. I believe that every kid has a chance to be successful, and that's what drives me. And again, I'm in Philadelphia. I'm in the city. We have kids who are marginalized. We have poor kids. We had all the things. I was that child. I remember when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I went and hugged a teacher, and I got in trouble for hugging a teacher. And my mom was like, why did he get in trouble? She said, I don't really like him touching me. And we were a different skin tone color. And I started to realize that some children at home don't get hugs. They don't get fed. They don't get clothes. They don't get what I would think is normal for a child to have in order for them to be or have a balanced lifestyle. And so when our kids come to us every single morning, Michelle and I and other administrators were outside every morning greeting kids. We're directing traffic. We dressed up as cones one day. And the kids, if we're in the middle of the block, the kids will start at the across the street, try not to get hit by our car, and take off and run in our arms. And I'm picking up this child like this is my child that I birthed, and it's the greatest feeling ever to know that a child feels safe in your arms, in your care, that they're learning. We have over 20 different languages, over 30 different countries represented in our school. And it's amazing to be able to communicate with people that you don't know their language, they don't know yours, but they know that they're safe. They know that they can have fun. They know that they're learning. They know that they're a part of the community and that they're valued. That's what drives me. Being able to serve. I grew up in the church. My dad's a bishop, mom's evangelist, and we're servant leaders. My dad was a bishop. I had to go up to him with a cup and white gloves, and here you go, bishop, and serve everybody on the pulpit. And I did other things in the church, but that said something. It's like Jesus Christ sitting there and washing people's feet. That's what drives me. Being able to give these kids a chance to be something more than what they can imagine to be.
Yeah, wow, good stuff. So just to stay there for a minute, that's what you bring, the energy you bring. How does that translate to your staff, right? In terms of, you got individual personalities on that staff that obviously want to be in the classroom, but may not see the world through your lens or see the world the way you see them. What do you do to increase the probability that you've got staff on a page that's comparable to yours?
It's not easy. You have to be consistent every day, doing the same thing over and over, preaching the same thing over and over and over. I was at my school. This is I'm going into year 5 as the principal. My first year, I was me, and we had a couple hiccups culturally. And then once that happened, Michelle and I sat down, and a couple of other people, and we said to ourselves, what can we do? And I said, the only thing we can do is stay consistent. We're not going to use the staff to change the culture. We're going to change the culture. And from year 1 to about around the middle of year 4, which was this year, I saw the cultural change. Snow hits, I'm the one shoveling. The teachers see that.
Yeah.
If we have issues with custodial, I'm the one throwing the trash away. They see that. I'm the one sweeping. Michelle does windows. She mops. I'm she's laughing, but we
clean bathrooms. Yeah.
Bathrooms. We literally do it all.
Yeah.
Cut grass, all that. It got to a point that Michelle got her new building. She walked over. She said, Vance, you gonna have to come over here, and we gonna have to cut some stuff down. I'm gonna get my husband to cut these weeds. We're gonna have to paint this room because we care. You have to take pride. Once you the leader takes pride in what you have, it's like fire. It just spreads. We had professional developments around marigolds and walnut trees, and you don't want to be a walnut tree because the walnut tree makes things toxic. You need to be planted by a marigold. Who here is a marigold? You got people raising their hand. Cool. If you have a bad day, you want to plant yourself near this person, and just continue to preach safe, caring, responsible, supportive value. We want everybody to feel valued. And then you start to treat not only students that way, but your staff members that way. There has been times that there are staff members who got stuck in the snow. I take a shovel out my car and I walk a half a block down and shovel them out so they can get to work. And then I don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
You don't tell nobody because it's not about me being seen doing that. All of a sudden it got around because the teacher told somebody. I didn't know she was going to tell somebody, but you do it out of the kindness of your heart. You're there to serve. You serve parents, you serve community members, and it spreads like wildfire. I knew it changed when Philly had a real huge snowstorm. It was mounds and mounds and mounds of snow. Staff came out. The district opened up the school. Staff came out, and I just saw all of us. I saw people who I would never see outside pick up kids over mounds of snow because we got to get these kids in because we know that they have no food in the house. We know they have no heat in the house. We got to teach them. And it was cold. Like my fingers, if your fingers hurt, your face hurt. Yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, the culture of this place is changing. This is beautiful. We are really now on the same page. To the extent now, this past week, school is out. I've had teachers said, "Hey, Vance, we're coming in so we can plan for next year." Say, "Okay, all right, I'll be there." And so all of a sudden now we're having PLC during the summer. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody worrying about nothing. The only thing we want to do is make these kids better. We want to get better at our practice. Yep. And you just got to do it, and you got to keep. You can't stop. You got to be hungry over whatever your respectful, you're not cussing anybody out like that, but you got to be hungry and consistent about doing the thing, whatever that thing is, whatever your vision is, it'll catch on.
Love it. That was a whole training right there. Yeah. Good stuff. I got one more. It's a two-parter, but for both of you. But first, let me go to you, Principal McNear. When you think of the principal assistant principal relationship or dynamic, what stands out for you as a primary role of the principal within this dynamic?
Being an example, and again, serving. So when I mean by serving, it's funny that you asked that question because I've had Michelle as an assistant principal for all of my principalship. So this year she's leaving me. She's going to her own school, and I'm getting 2 brand new assistant principals to our school. And I have to disconnect the relationship that I have with Michelle because it grew into what it is today.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing now is I'm instilling in my new assistant principals that I trust you. I trust you instructionally because I know what both of you can do instructionally. I am not a micromanager unless I kind of have to be, but I'm really not a micromanager. I trust you in sitting down, having that conversation with them. Like, I'm not putting you in the cafeteria. I'm not putting you on recess duty. We gonna be in classrooms. We're gonna go in. We're gonna norm. We're going to come back. No, we're going to go in. We're going to observe. We're going to come back. We're going to sit down. We're going to norm about what we see, and then we're going to reset. So in my mind, like right now, this year going into this new school year, my plan is to reset. We're going to reset some things, and again, they have to know that I'm serious, or we, Forrest, are serious about instruction. So I got to be in classrooms, but I also trust you that whatever your content area is, we're all going to sit down at this table and we're all going to have a voice to this vision. I have a vision, but I want everybody to have a fingerprint in the vision.
Yeah.
So, if I was to say anything, it would be to continue to serve in that capacity and just be an example and learn how to and build relationships so you can trust that you in a toxic environment.
You're breaking up. No, he may not know.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I can hear. Hold on.
You broke up.
On.
Yeah, that
Hold
last that last sentence.
Well, while we wait, can I go back to one of your questions?
Yeah.
Principal Kafele? When you asked me about like my drive, and I did say that you're back.
Okay, I was on a roll.
Finish that
You
thought.
were.
Go. I know. Oh, but I don't know when it cut off. But I guess basically what I was trying to say is that building relationships and learning how to trust one another and staying consistent, being that example, is the way I would attack. Having pretty much a new assistant principal coming on to Forrest. It's all about relationships, trust, and ensuring that we're all on the same page.
Yeah, no, that's powerful stuff. You got it all in there too. Go ahead, Principal Todd-Coleman.
So I did want to say that I talked about those people who pushed me, but I do want to also say that I did get hungry for the position. And I left that part out because that drive and that hunger is what gets you there. Because it's not just people pushing you. It's also about when you decide to say, okay, I'm going to do this and I believe in myself and I can do this. Like, I know that I can do this. So that hunger, it came to me this current year. And I've been an AP for 5 years, but this year here, this 5th year, is when that hunger, that drive got to me bad, real bad. I was hungry for it. I wanted it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with you. So same question that I asked Principal McNear, but now I'm asking somebody who hasn't even stepped into the position yet. But I just want you to think about it. What stands out for you as the primary role of the principal within that principal AP relationship or dynamic?
The role of the principal for me is to help them build their leadership skills. You have talked about it. We have talked about how an assistant principal is a person who is supposed to be able to do the job of the principal. And my job as a principal and anyone else's job as a principal is to lead their AP into that role, whether they want it or not. Not every assistant principal wants to be a principal. I do know that.
Right.
But at the same time, you want your assistant principal to receive the respect that the principal receives, to be able to understand the things that the principal understands, to develop them instructionally, to develop them in operation procedures, budgeting, and the political aspect that comes with being a principal. And we've talked about that a lot. We've talked about how being a principal is not just about, and as an AP, we've talked about that. We've talked about how being a principal is not just about going into a school and leading. It's also about how do you keep the news out of your building? How do you, make sure that you're building those community relationships? So those are the things that you, as a principal, that when you have someone that is leading with you, alongside you, that you actually take those steps to make sure that they're going along this journey with you. So you have to lead them and guide them and teach them and coach them and mentor them in everything that you do as a principal.
I had a very interesting superintendent on here that you may have seen, Dr. Catrice Pereira, superintendent of Lancaster ISD in Texas. Dr. Marcus Jackson, where that's his superintendent. And she made it very clear. She said the assistant principalship in her district is training ground for the principalship. And if there's an assistant principal that wants to be a career assistant principal, that's not the district for them. She's looking for that spot to rotate, so that we got you in here, we're training you, and now you move on. So that we can vacate that spot for the next one that we're going to train for the principalship and on. So and I don't necessarily disagree with it. But I do understand that there are people out here who are better served as number two, right? Some great number twos out here who would never be successful in number one. That's just not who they are. It's not in their DNA, So it's an ongoing, interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with you, Principal McNear. We in the topic now, fam. My AP is now a principal. What should I tell her? So here. Principal, matter of fact, let me go to Principal McNear first on this, and then I'm gonna flip it over to Todd-Coleman. What would you tell Principal Todd-Coleman and all other new principals out there about how to maximize their utilization of their assistant principals?
That's interesting. Michelle, this is directed towards me, but let's
Hey, Vance, real quick before you answer.
Let
me just put this out there just for clarity. As was said on this platform today already, so Principal Todd-Coleman has been your AP throughout, but now she's in a different role, and now her whole purview is different, right? So hence the spirit of the question. What would you tell her about something that she's actually been doing, but she's been doing it from the assistant principal perspective? Now she's doing it from the principal perspective, so that might look different to her as she's in the role. So go ahead and respond.
Yeah, Michelle, let's start doing a natural thing. So seriously, just start talking back and forth, because it'll get interesting if we do it the natural way, because I've been quiet, and it's your turn, then my turn, and your turn. So in a minute we need to get real, because so Michelle, so this is how I do it. I someone, a mentor, a frat brother too, told me, Vance, if you're looking to make the next step, becoming a superintendent, you got to run your school like a superintendent. I said, okay. And so I kind of run my school like it's its own district. And I think that the schools in Philadelphia are huge. Philly's a huge district. And each school is like its own district, because 5 blocks down the street is another school. However, it's different than mine. So we have departments, we have 2 buildings. And once my year one, we moved to another building. So our main building, we have 2 buildings. We have a PEC building, which is the primary education building. That's K and first. And we have another building that's 2nd through 5th. 2nd and 5th moved to another site because we were getting renovations done. And so I had to learn how to lead and principal 2 buildings like 1.5 miles to 2 miles away from each other.
Right.
And Michelle, was almost a principal of her own building because she was the administrator away from everybody else.
Yeah.
And she had her own building. And I had to coach her in that way, knowing that she and I were both assistant principals the previous year in the same network. And so I'm like, wow, how am I going to lead this young lady? And I'm a new principal. We both been assistant principals. What do I have to give to her? And so then I started to realize my own gifts. And so she actually leads in a way, now that I can see it, she leads in the way that I lead. She's able to now not do everything. And so when you get your own APs, you have to learn you can't do everything and be a successful principal. You can't. You got to let go.
Yes.
You got to let them. The book. You got to let them. So one piece of advice would be to sit down, normal the vision. Everybody in your leadership table, your leadership crew, they have to know the vision and let them go. And once somebody does something too far left, too far right, you sit them down, you have that conversation, everybody's back on the same page, and you go, because you can't do it all. There was a time where we needed someone who was responsible for special ed. And I gave it to Michelle. Michelle hated me. I mean,
I did for a long time.
For a long time, she hated
me. I did not. And I blamed him every day that I had to.
When I mean hate, I mean it you get into these. I trust my folk, and I'm not one of those people. I need yes people around me. So I tell me the truth, and she started telling me the truth a little bit too much, and I, it was like, whoa, it's going to help you. It's going to build this part of your tool belt up. I don't want it. Oh my God, what's an IEP? What? What?
Wait. I knew what an IEP.
Okay, you knew what an IEP was, but
no. But when it comes to special education, there's a lot of acronyms, and I was like,
there's a lot of acronyms.
Dictionary. I was like, I was leaning on but I will say, and I knew you were going to go there because that was really it was going to make or break our relationship for real. Because I
said I'll help you. I said I'll help you. But I didn't help her like I could have because I had other things I had to do.
But no, it was okay. It was okay because, like, as a principal, it's like you're going to put people in uncomfortable positions. That's just the bottom line.
That's where they grow.
That was a very uncomfortable position for me. But at the end of the day, Vance is my boss, so it's not like I'm not going to do it, because I wholeheartedly believe in the principal assistant principal relationship where the principal is the helm of the school, and if this is something that he wanted me to take on, I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. I mean, of course I have a choice, but I didn't have a choice because in me, my drive is for the children. So, and he knew that, we desperately needed someone to be our special education compliance manager. And we had a high autistic community and learning support. And even this year we have 6 classes. I think when I took over, we had, 5 autistic support classes. So
we have eight now.
Yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And someone had to do it. And he chose me. And I am very grateful to this day that I was chosen to do that, and that I was able to. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot because I learned how to lean on people. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help, and I was actually able to ask for help. I learned my network. I learned who I can call. I learned who would help me, guide me for not just being a compliance manager, but instructionally, because special education takes on a different realm when you're talking about the instructional side, learning support, autistic support. Now, that's all we have. Now, the school I'm going into has learning support, autistic support, and life skills. So
right there, I just want to now make the connection. When I gave that to her, I knew she needed that.
Yeah. You
So
didn't
it was
know.
an
No, you
investment.
didn't. Nah, you did not know I needed that.
Yeah, I know you needed it.
Well, you needed somebody.
I
You did
grew
not
up
know I
special
needed
ed.
that.
Look,
No.
some folks might think I need an IEP now. Look, well, all I'm saying
See,
is
that's why Dr. Jones Tuna wants y'all to have a podcast, right?
Dr. Jones, he did not know I needed special.
I knew she didn't know. I knew she didn't know because when I mentioned it, she said no. I said, yes, that's what you need.
No. You know what? Okay, go
But
ahead.
it worked. And the reason why it worked because the
Principal
school you're going to has a larger special ed community than our school now.
You did not know I was going to be at that school.
I knew it. God told me. He sat me down. He said, look, I ain't gonna go. That's between me and him in the closet. But what I'm saying in my prayer closet. But I knew it. And you knew I knew it too. But that's another story.
No, I didn't know.
I knew it.
So let's keep it moving. I want to ask you, Principal Todd-Coleman, what if in your new capacity, it's a hypothetical, and now you've got to ask someone to do something that's not really within their comfort zone. This is so hypothetical that it may be difficult to answer, but let's do the best we can for the family that's watching out there. And they express to you that they really don't want to do it. How do you convince them but sustain a good relationship and rapport with this individual from your vantage point of new principal who hasn't been in this role yet?
Good question. I would definitely say, just to go back, Vance and I and the rest of our leadership team, the only people you see right here are Vance and I, but we have an entire team. Mm-hmm. And I will say that we sat down at the table. We have 2 climate managers, 2 APs, 2 counselors, and
L point,
2 SBTLs, and we also have an L point for English language learners. So our network is very big just in our own building. So I'm just going back to move forward. We sat down at the table, and when he literally dumped that news on me, I saw somebody say Michelle is low key still mad. And so when he put that on because I do a lot at the school. I do a lot at the school. And then when he put that on me, I realized that it took me away from a lot of things that I was doing. But I will say this, I had one of my climate managers, he jumped in and he just said, I will help you. Mm-hmm. And so all of that to say that it's actually the relationship as a principal and as an assistant principal, because as an assistant principal, it is very important to build relationships with your people, even though you're not the principal of the school. You still are the assistant principal of the school. You're an administrator. Mm-hmm. And it is very important for you to look at the people that who are in front of you, who you have been charged to lead, and build those relationships with those people. So the relationships that I had built, people were supporting me. So as moving into a principal role, mm-hmm. and, having the task of letting someone know that I need you to take charge of this, even though I know this is not your wheelhouse. I know you're not an expertise in this, that you have to say to that person, I know you're not very good at this, and we get that, but we're going to support you, mm-hmm. to build you up, to, mm-hmm. make you strong, to make sure that you are successful in the best capacity possible during your time that you have to do this. But eventually you will become good at it. And as long as those people are there to support you, and that principal is there building you up, then I do believe that, that's the reason why I was able to have some success in that. Was I the best? No. I know now, since we had a spec on I saw what they really did.
No, you were the best, girl. Don't worry. You were the best. No, our spectrum is good. I ain't gonna lie.
She's very good. But she also, when she came in, and our network of people because we're in a network called Network 11, they were like, for me going into this role for the very first time, and that I did a really good job. And I had to believe it. And that's the other thing. When people say you're doing a good job, you have to believe them and hold on to that, because that makes you even stronger to build you up, you know. And I had to learn to lean into that as well, that I was doing a good job. And that, you know, by the end of the year, we were 100% compliant.
It feels different when you go through the fire together as a team.
Yeah.
When you go through the fire together, you encourage one another. Iron sharpens iron, and you're encouraging one another that this is the overarching goal, and we're going to do it together no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. You know, I'm gonna use your titles and your first name. So, Principal Michelle, you've been this assistant principal with Principal Vance for a few years, and that dynamic between principal and AP, I guess it to an extent it was organic. Another extent, there's some learning going on, that type of thing. But now here you are again in this new capacity. What would you want to ask Principal Vance? What would you want to know or learn from or learn about from him regarding the maximization of the assistant principal, but not in terms of you having worked under him, but now you're in a different capacity? What could you ask him that you may have missed? And it may be so abstract, and then once you're in it, you're gonna see some things that as an AP working with the same person, I didn't see that. So because there's some things that happen within the relationship that he may not even express or articulate, right? That now you're in his shoes as a principal, and you may see some things that like, oh. Right, but you may have to experience it to get to the O, you know. So
right.
It's funny. I got a couple of them, but he asked you the question.
Like, when you transition from assistant principal to principal, like, what would you're saying that, Vance?
No, so you're the principal now.
Yeah.
What would you ask me about being a principal now? Like, our relationship is our relationship as principal and assistant principal.
Yeah.
You are now a principal. How do you what questions would you have from me working or training or mentoring an assistant principal? That, like, something, I'll give you an example. Like, when we made the decision that you were going to become a principal, I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about these topics. I'm going to introduce you to, I'm going to expose you to the budget.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all these. I was doing some things I did for you that you don't even know I did.
That's the point. That's the point right there.
Like,
and I don't mean to interrupt you, but real quick, I promise you, Principal Michelle, I promise you, I said it on June 27th at 12:20 Eastern time. Once you're fully entrenched in this role, and now you by yourself as principal, you got a team, but you're the number one.
Right.
I promise you,
it's different. When
you think about this man that's on the bottom of my screen, you're going to begin to see him in a different light.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him the way you see him on June 27th. You're going to see him, because you didn't live his life yet. Right. So now once you start living that life, you're gonna, I need to call Vance. Right. And it's going to be a different kind of conversation. So what I was getting you to do is to speculate, but don't worry about that. When we come for part 3, then I could ask that question. Now I see where you were going on the 27th of June. See, but go ahead, Vance. Principal Vance.
No, I was, I believe, once you're a classroom teacher, you got kids. Once you become an assistant principal, you got staff. Once you become a principal, once you become an assistant principal, you got staff and kids. Once you become a principal, you got leaders, staff, and kids. And it's all, for me, it's all about exposure, opportunity, and access. And you want to give that to kids, but you want to give that to staff members too. So the more opportunities and access you give to your staff members, professional developments, whatever that looks like, sounds like, and feels like, they start to grow. Same thing with the leadership. That's why anywhere I went, I took you with me. I didn't take Renee, because Renee's been a principal already, and she was like, I'm about to retire. So if you really want to get on this next step, let's take you all the places in the rooms that assistant principals don't normally end up in.
Right.
I feel out of place. I don't care how you feel. You with me.
Right.
And
there were times when I felt out of place, because I was like the only assistant principal in the room, and he's like, you're with me, don't worry about it. And that is the truth. Like no, I know that I don't know everything. Even something that popped up the other day, or I won't say where, but something popped up, and he texted me. He was like, you see what happens when you're a principal? Things just come up.
Yeah.
And you don't know why, but
that's the point. That's the point right there.
I'm not going to say what it was or anything, but and I just said, yeah, because I was wondering. And I did specifically tell Vance, I think I came to our school last week or something. And I said to him, I really do hope you know, and that you're prepared, that you're going to be running 2 buildings, because I'm going to need you. I don't know what I don't know, and there were so many things happening, so many inner workings that he was doing. But it wasn't just for me, it was for his entire staff. So I'm just piggybacking off of what you said, when you said you had to make sure that you build up your own leadership team, not just staff, students, community, but also your leadership team, because our job is to build, to help people grow, and to, just to help people find out what it is that they want to do. So, even having the Temple Life program, even, had just people were going places. And I will say this, and I have told this to Vance in the past, that yes, I was in my own building. Yes, I pretty much ran that building, but it also kept me away from the things that were happening in the main building. And sometimes I felt, even this year, I felt out of place, because you can't be everywhere. You cannot do everything, and you won't know everything. So as that, I will say, like, as an assistant principal, if you're in a different building, it will be your responsibility, and it should be your responsibility, to know what's going on, especially if that's something that you want to do, to know what's going on inside of the rest of the building. And if, like, I was finding, I think even when Nikki went to a conference and she was gone for 4 days, and I'm like, where's Nikki? And I was really upset. And I'm like, I didn't even know she was going to a conference, but this was something that, was through the Pioneer Network, and she was doing this conference, and I didn't know. And I felt bad, because as an assistant principal, I felt like I should know that, where the people are, and I didn't.
All right, so I'm going to be very transparent on this call. So this is something new that I learned, and Michelle, what would you tell your principal, your assistant principal now? She's a principal. Mm-hmm. If you have a leadership team meeting, and it happens once a week, and it starts to get towards the end of the year, and a lot of things going on, and y'all get tired, you're like, okay, it's all right, we don't have to meet anyway.
Yes, but I asked you, can we meet?
Now that I'm being transparent.
Yes,
I've learned. I learned that the hard way, because if you would have had that meeting, you would have known Nikki. Nikki is our school-based teacher leader. She's she's pretty much a coach, a teacher turned coach. You would have known that she was going to be away for 4 days for that particular meeting. It's very important that we stay consistent. If you are the leader, you must stay consistent and stay connected. Communication is the key, first and foremost. Without it, all things fall apart. You have to communicate. And you now, as a principal, you are in the PEC building by yourself. If you were the principal of Forest, you got to know what's going on in both buildings.
Yes,
in their neighborhood. Mm-hmm. and all around. You make connections with police officers and all the relationships that we have here at Forest. You'll have that at your new school, because thank God you're in my network. So
Yeah.
you all the partnerships that you made, you still have them,
Yes.
and it's all good. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
But yeah, I slap on Vance's hand. He did not have his leadership team meeting because Vance was tired. Everybody was tired. We had the PSSA and we had state testing and all the things. And you know what? We can chill for a day. And as soon as we chill for a day, all of a sudden, it didn't all fall apart. But there's a reason why we have that meeting. And I need to stay consistent in that meeting all the way to the end.
Yeah. And that's the thing that made me feel disconnected.
Yeah.
There was a
that's on my leadership.
Yeah.
That's not on you. That's on my leadership.
But here's the beauty. You get to learn from that.
Yes.
Principal Michelle. Yeah. Good stuff. You know, Principal McNear, give us an example of a couple of blind spots that Principal Michelle should be aware of that may not have been necessarily within her view in her assistant principal capacity.
This is going to sound silly. A blind spot, and that's because I know her, is as small as this may sound, the ability to take a lunch. The ability to take a lunch. I remember when I started my principalship, my coach, he told me, he said, Vance, take a lunch. And I like to eat, you know, I eat. He said, put it on your schedule, put lunch in your schedule. Okay. And so to this day, if I go to my schedule, even in the summer months, it says lunch. I don't stop it. And the reason why is because sometimes you're going to need a break.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take a walk. You're going to need a break because if you don't take a break, you'll break.
Yeah.
And I get teased about it. People put stuff on my on my door, and Vance loves his wonton soup. Where's Vance at? Oh, he walked to the Chinese store. And sometimes you need to get out of the building to take a break, to get away from people, because and that's another thing. Once you become the principal, everybody wants a piece of you. And so when you're walking from point A to point B, everyone's going to ask you a question. Can I talk to you for a second? Can I talk to you for a second? Let me talk to you real quick. And in your year one, you're going to have to establish those boundaries. You're going to have to get over the guilt of not being able to talk to everybody and meet everybody's needs. Because in year one, you're like, you want to, I'm the new principal. I want to help everybody. I want to do it. I want to do all the things. You can't do all the things. You're going to learn to say, email me. You're going to learn to say, hey, can I meet with you? Sure. Send me a Google invite. We learned, you're going to learn it. Yeah. Jamina used to do that all the time. Jamina, can I talk to you? Send me an invite. Oh, okay. Then you get on, you try to send them the invite, and it tells you they're not, you're going to have to live through your calendar. These are just things that you're going to have to do and stay consistent, because if you don't, all the things are going to hit you at once, and you're going to be spread too thin. And you're going to have to learn how to do the job. And once you're learning how to do the job, now you got to learn how to walk in the vision and do the job at the same time. And then once you're walking in the vision and doing a job, you got to learn how to now fight for kids, because this is why we're really here.
Right.
We're fighting for kids, and it's a lot. But you got it. You got it, girl.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. Let me go to Principal Michelle. You were, and I wasn't there, but I kind of know what I know. And you were an outstanding AP, which was inclusive of you being able to be an instructional leader. I got a two-parter. How were you able to defy the stereotypes of what an assistant principal is and have your feet in instructional leadership / coaching while doing the other things that APs have to do?
I will say that being an instructional leader, I made that my priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there are some APs in schools where the principals designate them to, discipline and lunch duty. And we've had those conversations about, you don't have to do that because. I have put these people in place to make sure that you don't have to do these things. Now, that's not to say that I won't do lunch duty, because I will. And that's not to say that I won't do recess, because I will. And that's not to say that I won't do discipline, because I will. Because that actually still has children at the center of everything that I do. If there's a child, my climate staff is busy with lunch, and there's a child like going office out of a classroom, either I'll say send the kid to me, or I'm going down to the classroom to see. But I like that, I like helping kids and supporting our students as well. So it's not something that I ever want taking off of my plate 100%, because that is something that I have a passion about, especially because growing up and going to school, I won't say that I was a bad child. I definitely was not, but I also had very good relationships with my teachers, my administrators, and just people in the building. And those are the people who, made me who I was. So knowing that and going into this career and on this journey, I have a very good understanding of the importance of the development of relationships, not just the political side of being a principal, but also that development of relationships with the students that are in your building, and letting them know that you care for them and you don't want to see, they thought of me as the principal. No, because when McNear came, it was a whole, they were like, hi, Miss Coleman. Hi, Miss Coleman. They give me love, give me hugs and everything. But when McNear came, look, the principal. That is Principal McNear. I'm like, oh, am I trying to like, you love me, right? So but when I see the dynamic between the children and the principal, and the children in administration, and how important it is. It is very important not to take yourself away from that. Yes. So being an assistant principal and, an instructional leader, they know you because I was in the classrooms, and not overwhelmingly in the classrooms, but I was in the classrooms doing observations, talking, even going inside of the classrooms to say hello. So I will say this, that if you're an assistant principal and your job is discipline or cafeteria duty or recess duty and things like that, again, make it a schedule. Like Vance puts lunch on his schedule. Make a schedule to go into the classrooms to say hello. Go into the classrooms to, just let your presence be known. Oh, this is assistant, and the teachers was, oh, this is assistant principal Coleman. She's our assistant principal. You know how they introduce principals, they all have a respect for those leaders, cops, firefighters, the librarian, the crossing guard. You are in that same realm for students, and students are learning to who their leaders are, who they look up to, who they can go to for support, and if they need something. And the kids will go home and tell their parents about their interactions that day. And that's assistant principal Coleman. That's Miss Coleman. She works with Mr. McNear. Like, that's how it was. So Bill,
Michelle, may I? I don't mean to cut you off. I just wanted you to also understand the importance of the principal's job in that, because now you're a principal.
Yeah.
You have to be able to allow your assistant principal to do those things. Every place is not forest. Everybody doesn't have two of everything. So and a staff that can handle climate and stuff like that. Sometimes assistant principals have to go into the cafeteria. But just understand, as they're going into the cafeteria, as they're doing drop off and the morning admissions and dismissal and all the operational things, you still have to make it a priority to allow your assistant principals or whoever's under you to go into those classrooms.
Yes.
And to do instruction. And you might have to say, you know what? I want you to go into this classroom and see what they're doing instructionally. I got
the lunchroom duty.
Yeah, I got your lunchroom or recess duty for today.
Right.
Go. And that's where the humbling thing. I know people, I'm a principal, I don't do that.
Right.
No, we all in the same game. We all in the same weeds. We all got to do that type stuff. I just wanted
to, just like you said, we're here to serve.
Yes.
Because without the children and without the instruction, we wouldn't even have a job.
Right. So if I didn't allow you to do that, I didn't do my job right.
Right.
So
Right.
to hear you say that makes me feel good. Like, wow, Vance, you did all right.
Mhm.
Always room for me to learn, but
You
at
did
least,
all right.
yeah, I did all right. But you know, as long I still gave you the opportunity, the access and exposure to instruction and
Yes.
to make decisions, and not just to be climate staff.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I asked you, Principal Michelle, that question for the reason that I'm going to ask this follow up to Principal Vance. Principal Vance, Principal Michelle is going to want to be an instructional leader in year one. She's going to want to be in those classrooms. She's going to want to talk to those teachers. She's going to want to be that coach to her staff. But the reality is she's going to have a full plate, right? There's going to be a lot of things she's got to do. There's going to be meetings she's going to have to attend outside of school, all that kind of stuff. What would be your advice to Principal Michelle in terms of just striking a good balance, keeping a level head, not feeling overwhelmed in that first year?
Pray, because you're going to need it. Year one is pretty much it's your most difficult year. Obviously,
Yeah.
it could be difficult depending on your the makeup of the school and the neighborhood and all the other stuff. But it's because you're trying to learn how to do the job, and you're going to start to realize all the things I did as an AP, I may not necessarily do as a principal, because I'm in the seat now, and I have to run the building. And running the building, you've been there. I have. You just have to. Okay, what I would tell you to do, my advice would be, make instruction your priority, but take your time. Don't beat yourself up because you're not going to be able to get to everything all the time. You got to build those relationships so you know who is serious about instruction, serious about taking care of those kids, because every building has, you know, those die hard. I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a do it all, and they also have the people that, you know, aren't necessarily like that, and that's fine. Build those relationships, learn who you can trust, and there will be mistakes because that's just life, and learn who you can trust, and don't be afraid to call me. Don't be afraid to call your coach.
Oh, Vance, you cut your audio off. Yeah.
My bad. You have a very good assistant superintendent. I know her. She's been mine for, you know her. She's very supportive. You can call other principal friends, other colleagues, other mentors. Just take your time. Don't make any rash decisions, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Because you got to learn how to run that building. You're going to have to learn when the air conditioning is off. You're going to have to figure out how to tell everybody. Don't call parents and tell them to pick up the kids. There's operational stuff that has to be done. I know very, very, very smart people who know instruction, who became principals, but they didn't do well because they didn't know how to run the building.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to balance that. You know, us being in the same network and in obviously the same district, there are specific expectations that we have on us as principals and administrators. We have to get into at least 4 classrooms. We have to have at least 4 observations typed up into our system. We have to have a PLC. All these things have to run, but you can't run PLC, get in classrooms, talk to the fam. Fam is not family, but the facilities area manager. Right. You're going to have to go to these principal meetings that they have every year. I mean, I'm sorry, once a month. You still may want to be a facilitator in the Black Women's Think Tank. That's something else on your plate that is going to take you out of the building. You know, so you'll get your sea legs underneath you. Just to be able to know that you have friends, and we're there to help and support any way we can. My building will run. I'll come over.
Good stuff. And to the fam out there, I want y'all to understand that these questions are not just for Principal Michelle. Michelle is just the vehicle to get to everybody that's on this call, you know, and because these questions are not just relative to a first year administrator. That's for anybody. It could be somebody on the call right now that's 5 years and you running around and can't do the things that you really want to do because the culture of the building is not giving you permission to do the things that you want to do. The culture of the building said, oh no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to coach. You're not going to observe classrooms. You're not going to engage with students. You're going to do this. And that this might be things that we really don't want to do, right? But the culture said, I'm not giving you an option. So there's got to be an emphasis, a heavy duty emphasis on the intentionality of the culture in terms of what can we do to transform this culture so that I can be who I want to be and empower others with all that human capital in the building. They can do what I could do, but they could do it so that I can do what I need to do. You know, so yeah, so that's everybody. That's everybody. Let me go to those talking points. Let's see. Here we go. Number one, you all sent me. It said clear and consistent, and we probably talked about all three of these, but let's see. Clear and consistent communication will be the foundation of your success. Make sure your message keeps everyone aligned and focused on putting kids first. Actually, we didn't talk about this, so whichever one of you wants to jump in.
Again, for Forest, our vision is to ensure that every kid is safe, cared for, supported, and valued. Anything that I communicate is about that. And what I've learned as a principal, it's just not about what I tell staff members once a week in my weekly communication. It's how we speak to kids. It's how we speak to parents. It's how we build relationships with outside providers. It's a lot of stuff is going on at Forest, and I want to keep it going. And so everybody has to be on the same page. You have to know the why we're doing it, and logistically, everybody has to be on the same page. And that's once we start to figure out the system, because that's what it really all comes down to is systems. You create these systems that are now running the building. So again, you can become the instructional leader of that building because now you have systems that are working. And a good example of that is, and again, Michelle is leaving me. She's going to her own building. So the things that Michelle had to do, I got to figure out and remember to do. Michelle was responsible for some communication. I did the website. She did the what did you do, Michelle? The monthly newsletter. I got another staff member who does the monthly calendar. Michelle did the all calls where you know you get a phone call that says, yeah, this is that we were off on this day. I have the Instagram page. It's just all different types of communication. We all do certain things in Dojo, which is our way that we communicate with our parents. Is just to ensure that logistically we have a chat. Oh my God, that chat could be a pain. We have a chat that we just drop information in. Well, if I'm a teacher and I'm teaching, I may not have the ability to check my phone and get the chat. So now we have to remember to drop it in the chat, drop it in the email, and then announce it. All types of whatever the communication is, we've got to understand that everybody's communication, logistically, we all ought to be on the same page, but mentally and culturally, we have to be on the same page. We don't just talk to kids any old type of way. And you have to be able to tell your staff that in a way that it's not aggressive, but it's in a way that everybody can receive. This is how we speak to kids, and this is the why. Because we respect kids. We're dismantling historically things that stop kids from learning. It's all about communication and just being aligned. It's very important. If your message continues to change, you're going to have a rough start.
Or if your message, you have a message, but you're actually not
communicating it. Yeah.
You're not doing it.
You're not living it.
Not living it. How about that?
You can communicate one thing, your vision, to your staff and your community, but also you could be a certain another type of way, so or you can have the teachers, you don't yell at kids, but then you're yelling at kids. So it's those are things that when we talk about like clear communication, and it is very important to make sure you have several portals of communication, because parents will flat out let you know, I don't check that, I don't look at that, you're going to have to call me. And it's like, you can't call every parent, but if you have a parent who specifically says, I don't check that, and then you have a teacher that continuously uses that device as communication, then you're not putting that, you know what I mean? You're not communicating with that parent at all.
Yeah.
So there are, just being clearly communicating with not just your staff, but also your parents and your guardians, and knowing what their needs are. Because if we're saying that we're going to support you the best way that we can, and we're not even communicating with you the way that you've asked us to communicate with you, then we have a problem when we already have a disconnect. This is not going to happen. So there were a lot of fires that I had to put out, because I am a person who likes to make phone calls to parents. I'll do it. I have no problem. But I also want to intercept any kind of miscommunication or bad communication between parents and teachers, because a teacher's job, yes, is to communicate with the parent, but it's also to teach the child. So if there are any types of issues that they're having, then I like to be a part of that, and even bring the teacher and the parent together so that they can be on the same page. And most of the times it's just miscommunication, and we try to intercept that. Just being consistency is the key. Vance is very consistent with his vision, and that's something that I will definitely have to develop. And developing that vision is for me is going to come from getting to know my people, and then collaborating and making sure that this is something we're all on the same page with. So I can have a vision, but if everybody else doesn't see that, then it's kind of just going out the window. So I have to make sure that we're all on board. We all have the same vision. We all have the same mission, and we're here to do a specific job. And that's what we're going to do. And we all have our own portals that we're working in, and then we bring that all together. And then that message is aligned. It's always about putting kids first, always. Yeah. If kids are not at the center of your decision making, or the students, the data, because you can have people who will fight you, and it's just like, well, the data doesn't show this. Like you're saying you're doing this, but what does your data show? And that data is a direct, it's directly connected to, the students. So if you're putting students first and you're looking at the data, whether it's from, instructional data, whether it's from surveys or parents or whatever, data comes from everywhere. You can look at attendance, all data points, and all of it leads back to putting those children first. So just being, making sure that you're consistent with how you're looking at things, how you're making decisions.
One more thing, and I'll be quiet. Listening is also a part of communication.
Yeah. Right.
And so I'm glad you brought up that parent, because I don't like this particular. That means we're listening. And as a leader, I am listening to my constituents. I'm listening to the leadership team, because I don't have all the answers. Right. I don't have all the ideas. Right. I don't. Right. So listening, clear, consistent communication is, I also think, is also listening. So
yeah, I agree. And Principal Michelle, let me ask you this. In addition to listening, what are your thoughts? Like I have this discussion most of the time when I'm talking to leaders about verbal communication, right? But what about nonverbal communication? And I think that there's enough of us that we get that part wrong, right? The nonverbal. We stuck on the verbal, even the listening, which is nonverbal. But there's some other cues in there within the nonverbal that we need to really hone in on to make sure we get it right. What are your thoughts?
So I'm a person who makes a lot of faces. So those are things that I've been told that for years. It's not even, so especially when, I'm talking to a parent, like if I'm comfortable in my team and I don't like something that's being said, like my face is definitely going to make something ugly. But you know, when it comes to a parent, it is very important for me to make sure that they have the understanding that I'm listening to them without the interruptions. There are a lot of things that, you know, the parents, and it may be irrational. I mean, some parents are, you know, they put their children first. We put all children first, but they put their child first.
Right.
That is the understanding that we all have to have. Like, okay, I'm going to put myself in the realm of a parent. How would I feel if this was happening to my child by this teacher, by this student, by the staff member, whatever? And just making sure that, you know, when a parent is talking to you, that you're not making faces like, what, you know, and then ultimately understand we have, what'd you say?
Staff too.
we have to reach a goal. You know, every conversation that I have with parents or with staff or with anyone, it's about the goal for me. So when we finish this conversation, what is it that you want to see moving forward?
Yeah.
And I want my parents to understand that, because that is a conversation that I do have with parents. At the end of that, like, I let them go. I will talk to them. I will, you know, talk, and I'm going to back up a teacher. I'll get with the teacher later, but I'm going to back up the teacher, and just see what it is that they want. So I would say definitely that nonverbal communication, where parents feel like they can trust you, that they don't feel like they're bothering you, interrupting you, and teachers too. You know, and sometimes that can be hard because you're more comfortable with teachers and you're more comfortable with staff, but it's going to be very important to say, to make sure teachers know that, no, it's okay. You're not bothering me. I'm listening to you.
Students too.
Definitely students. Yeah. But some students, you can give them the eye. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Come on,
Right.
you know that's irrational. But you have, again, that's that relationship that you build with people.
Yeah, but you have a relationship
and transparent with them. You know, because some students know you're coming to me with the okie doke, and I'm not having it. You know, I'm not. We're not doing this today.
Man, I've been times I done pulled her back from students. Michelle dances, man, and when she dances, when she tried to teach a kid to dance, I can tell she's used to teaching older kids, because the little girl would look like Amber, looked like she's about to cry. Come here, Amber, I'll teach it to you. You were so mean to Amber that day.
I was not mean to Amber. Amber has
to do the 1-2 step.
Amber has to step it up. Okay, if you're going to do something, then just do it. Let's do it.
It's a cute little girl.
Cuteness has nothing to do with it.
It's a lot of people on this thread asking y'all to start the podcast, by the way. Right, so y'all might want to think about that.
Can I tell you this story? We go yesterday. One of our staff members is in the hospital. So we go to the hospital. We meet there's these double doors and then these other double doors, and you have to go through. So we get through the first set of double doors, but for some reason, the two brains put together couldn't get the other set of double doors open.
You didn't know the other set behind us.
Opened up the first set and then couldn't get through, and so we're kind of like stuck in between. So I'm like, stop, wave the hand. Okay, wave the hand. Then we finally get through him. And then he steps on the back of my flip-flop. I almost fall walking down the hall. The woman is
comedy hour from the time we got off.
The whole hospital cracking up.
Whole hospital cracking up.
I'm like,
and I'm in Star Wars. I'm trying to push the door open. I'm like, I'm using the force, and it didn't work. And then we figured out that the door behind us had to close, and then it was a mess.
Oh, okay.
This is a mess.
Wow. Yeah. That's funny. Wow. We got a fam out there. We got two more. So hang in there with us. We got two more.
We gotta get on a plane.
That's right. What time's your flight?
3. We gotta be. It boards at 3:00.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we ain't doing two more. We gonna end it right there because my flight's not till 6:30. So yeah. So let's let me get my screen right.
ASCD.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna do another. We're gonna do a part 3 with some more stuff. Once you get your feet wet in this game called the Principalship, and then we do a follow up. So with that, let me just be the first to applaud you. on certainly a dynamite session, powerful session. This was good. This was really great stuff. Hey, fam out there, do me a favor. If today's session resonated with you, I see some of y'all started with today's session resonated with you. If it was good to you, if it was useful, if you could incorporate some of what you learned or heard, if not all of it, give us your favorite emojis, right? That's how we applaud our guests every week for the past 322 weeks. Yeah. So give us your favorite emojis, whatever platform you're watching, on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, doesn't matter. Wow. Give us your favorite emojis while I quickly get my emoji out here. And certainly you all hit it out the park as I got my Josh Gibson Graves alternate jersey and my bat. So I'm repping Pennsylvania as well, Homestead Graves. And y'all hit it out the park every time you came to the plate. So good stuff, good stuff. I appreciate you. How can they follow you on social media, or if you wanted to leave any contact information? Start with Principal Vance.
Just type in my name. Everything is open now. Instagram, LinkedIn, everything's open.
Facebook. Excellent. Ooh, you got a lot of emojis here, y'all. Principal Michelle.
I'm on LinkedIn. I think we had this conversation.
We had a conversation about this yesterday.
Okay. It was like, you don't have Facebook, you don't have Instagram.
No, I couldn't tag you on nothing.
Yeah, we gonna fix that.
Yeah.
He's actually going to make me fix it, so I'll fix it. I will fix it.
Hey, y'all, let me just close this out, and then y'all stay on so I could just holler at you for a hot second, and then y'all catch that flight. To the fam out there, appreciate you for being here as always in week 322. I'm gonna go fast on this. I'm even gonna skip some of my normal announcements because they got to run. Join me next week for week number 323. You all know that I'm on holidays. When Christmas is here, I'm on live. When New Year's is here, I'm live. When whatever holiday is on a Saturday, I'm live. So July 4th, the 250th anniversary of America, I'll be live. But I'll be doing a topic that's a little bit different. I'm solo next week because it's first Saturday. My topic is a Black urban educator reflects on 250 years of America, right? Once again, a Black urban educator reflects on 250 years of America. That'll be my topic. I don't know how long I'm gonna go. I might go well past 2 hours. It don't matter. It'll be all recorded, and you can see it whenever you want to see it. It just depends on how long it takes me, but I have a lot to say. And I'll be reading some excerpts from different books, particularly Frederick Douglass's What to the Slave is Your 4th of July, and so much more. So join me next Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern time, live if you can. If not, then check it out whenever you can. But that'll be my 4th of July message, my 250th anniversary message. Other than that, y'all, Facebook Live every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, Sean Hurt, Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30, myself at 11, and then PGP Podcasts with Josh Tovar and Dr. Madi Moreno Sundays. That's all Facebook Live and YouTube by the names I gave you. That's 6 o'clock Eastern. If you come into ASCD, I'll see you there tomorrow. I know the 2 of you will be there, and I'll be there Monday, and then I'm out. Coming back home and chilling for the week because July is going to be a beast, right? I need some rest. School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, July 9 and 10 in Savannah. If you're interested, go to principalkafele.com, scroll down on the homepage, click the link, and I'll see you in Savannah. We're talking leadership for 2 days, instructional leadership, particularly 2 days, 9 to 4, both days, and you get a free copy. It comes with your registration of this. What is my value instructionally to the teachers I supervise, written by yours truly. If you come, and I don't even need to talk to you about the other conferences. I'll talk about them next week. I want them to be able to get on out of here. Hey, y'all, last thing, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. I always say that. All right, your diet, your exercise, and your virus precautions, because there's a lot of virus. I mean, I've never seen a summer where they're advertising flu shots before. I've never seen that before. So you got stuff all over the place. So just make sure that you're taking care of yourselves, taking whatever precautions you have to. Other than that, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. There's that one like hold up.
I just want to say, this is my book that I just got.
Oh man. I was gonna. Oh no! See, I was. Yeah. Oh well. I mean, this is mine. It got all types of stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
So I know you
man,
don't
I was
promote
gonna give
that,
it to
but
you
I
for a
wanted to
present.
promote this for you because I
This
did
is
get
a
it
good book.
once I got
I
the
appreciate
Principal.
that.
Got that, and I'll be
You got
reading.
the right one, particularly you being in your new role. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. A lot of what we talk about tomorrow at ASCD is going to be coming out of here, right? So
Yeah.
good stuff, good stuff. Appreciate you. So again, peace, peace. Thumbs up, cock that fist back. 1, 2, 3, bam. I see y'all next Saturday for that big message that I'm going to deliver.